The honourable member for Charleswood, St. James, Assiniboia, Headingley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A November 2021 NGO Monitor report shows that the Union of Agriculture Work Committees, an organization affiliated with the terrorist organization, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, also known as the PFLP, has been receiving Canadian tax dollars from Global Affairs as an implementing partner under an existing UN food and agriculture project that ends in 2022. Why is the Government of Canada funding the UAWC, a terrorist-affiliated organization?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
In fact, I just want to make sure that my colleague and I are on the same page, because Canada has listed the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the organization my colleague just mentioned, as a terrorist organization under Canadian law.
Honourable Member.
Well, that of course we all know, but strangely, a whole year earlier, back in October of 2020, Global Affairs actually issued a statement saying that they were not funding the UAWC directly or indirectly, and that Global Affairs had concerns about the terrorist connections of the UAWC. I'm speaking of the UAWC, not the PFLP. I know there are a lot of acronyms here. However, they had concerns about the terrorist connections of the UAWC. Yet, in an October 2021 ATIP request received by NGO Monitor, that ATIP request confirms that the UAWC is in fact listed as an implementing partner and is currently receiving Global Affairs funding. Again, I ask, why are Canadian tax dollars funding the UAWC a year after GAC expressed how concerned it was about its terrorist connections?
The Honourable Minister.
Canadian tax dollars will never be used to fund terrorist organizations, period.
The Honourable Member.
That's why I'm telling the Minister of this, Madam Chair, because the Canadian government is doing that, and I urge her to read the NGO Monitor report from November, and I can send her a copy if she hasn't seen it already, but that is in fact what is happening. Now, in October of this year, the Israeli government actually declared the UAWC to be a terrorist organization due to its links to the PFLP. Given that Israel is our strong ally, what steps is Global Affairs taking to finally stop funding this terrorist organization?
Minister.
Obviously, we're a steadfast ally of Israel and friends to the Palestinian people. I've raised the question regarding some Palestinian civil society organizations listed by Israel as terrorist organizations to my counterpart, Lapid, when I had the chance to talk to him. And of course, he said to me that he would be giving more clarity on this matter, so I'm waiting for him.
Honourable Member.
Okay, well, I look forward to that clarification, and I hope that the Canadian government will follow suit and also declare the UAWC as a terrorist organization. Now, I want to ask a few questions about UNRWA, Madam Chair. Canada gives tens of millions of dollars to UNRWA. In January, Impact SC issued a report confirming UNRWA was providing anti-Semitic school materials to young Palestinian students. The minister said at the time that she asked her officials to investigate how this happened. What was the outcome of this investigation, and will a report be tabled?
The Honourable Minister.
Of course, we will always be there to help vulnerable Palestinians. We're rather seeing them sitting in a classroom in schools that are funded by the United Nations organization than in the streets fighting. And that's exactly why we want to make sure that we continue to support UNRWA.
The Honourable Member.
But Madam Chair, the minister surely must be aware of what she's saying, because the school materials are teaching these young, vulnerable Palestinian children how to hate Jews. Will Canada stop providing dollars to UNRWA, given that these materials literally teach young Palestinian children to be anti-Semites?
The Honourable Minister.
My colleague must rest assured that we will always be there to denounce any form of anti-Semitism. And of course, we expect from UNRWA neutrality when it comes to the education and also the schooling material offered to the vulnerable kids in Palestine.
The Honourable Member.
Clear Madam Chair, that the minister is not getting neutrality. In fact, I wish the government would do what the EU is doing and put its money where its mouth is. In September, the European Union, because of these very concerns about the school materials, placed conditions on UNRWA funding on immediate changes to the Palestinian school curriculum to promote coexistence with Israel. If such changes aren't made by early 2022, EU funds will go to NGOs that do promote coexistence. Canada could have been a leader on this, Madam Chair, but at least I want to ask the minister, will her government follow the European Union's lead?
Minister.
My colleague referred to neutrality because I referred to neutrality a bit earlier. I just wanted also to reassure him because our funding allowed UNRWA to have a neutrality coordinator who leads initiatives and responds to allegations and upholds UNRWA's neutrality. So, of course, our funding, which is relevant and necessary, must be conditional to neutrality principles, and that's how we are upholding them.
Member.
I hate again to inform the minister, but it's not happening. She should perhaps follow up with her contacts and make sure that it is. I just want to ask a question about the appointment of the Honourable Erwin Kotler as Canada's Special Envoy on preserving Holocaust remembrance and combating anti-Semitism. What specific government resources have been allocated to the envoy to ensure that he can fulfill his mandate, which was recently renewed?
Honourable Minister.
Well, I'm glad my colleague is raising the incredible work of my personal friend, Erwin Kotler, proud Montrealer, and very strong advocate against any form of anti-Semitism and a bridge builder between the Jewish community and many other communities. I had the chance to have a good chat with him 2 weeks ago. He came to my office, and obviously we'll support him in all his endeavors.
Only has 38 seconds.
Well, he is an excellent appointment, but again, the minister didn't answer the question. Has the envoy received any resources, any funds, offices, support staff from the Government of Canada?
Honourable Minister.
He does, and he will continue to do so. And meanwhile, he also, following the meeting we had at GAC, had the chance to meet with another of his great friends, which is Prime Minister Trudeau, with, again, reinstated the importance of Erwin Kotler's work as a peace builder.
And I do want to remind the Honourable